Happy Thursday, everybody. You are now tuned in to the Paging Dr. Chanda show. Listen, today is another day where we're talking about mental health, the culture, faith, and all of those wonderful things. Y'all been enjoying these episodes, and I can't wait to introduce to you my guest today, who is Alex Isley. She's a powerhouse of talent, a soulful songstress, and a visionary artist who's carving her own unique path in the music world. Born into a legacy of musical greatness, she's taken that torch and lit up the stage, y'all. Her voice is just like honey, smooth and sweet, with the power to heal spirits and everything else. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the incredibly talented Alex Isley. Thanks,
Thank
Alex,
you.
for
Hi.
joining us.
Thank you for having me. That introduction was beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, I'm trying to get like Shannon Sharp with the intros. His intros be just like on a bean, so I'm trying following his footsteps.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's definitely a pleasure having you today. I'm a huge fan of your music and what you've been able to do musically. So I'm excited about having this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Me too. I'm excited to be on the show. So thank you.
Yay, yay. So, to my understanding, you are from New Jersey originally.
Yes, born in New Jersey,
Okay.
but raised in LA. I've been in LA since I was 2. So when people ask me where I'm from, I'm LA because this is really all I know.
Nice. Okay. So you've been in LA since you were 2. What was that transition like, if you remember, like from LA to or Jersey to LA?
I don't remember, and I wish I
Okay.
say it all the time. I wish I did remember parts of the East Coast. I go back there
Yeah.
for work and visiting, and I have cousins, in Inglewood still. So I wish I knew more about,
Yeah.
the snow life. I know nothing about that at all.
Well, we welcome you back to the East Coast. So come on back whenever you have time. We know you real busy. But what part of Jersey is your family from?
So they grew up in Inglewood,
Okay. Okay.
Inglewood, Jersey. Um, and then they had my uncles had a label called Teaneck um, after the city, and then I lived in Alpine with my parents.
Okay.
Um, I was born in Westwood, New Jersey, and then we lived in Alpine for a short minute. And
Dope.
then my mom is born and raised LA, so she,
Okay.
coming back home for her.
Dope. Dope. Okay. Well, I ask because a lot of my family is from New Jersey. So we might be cousins a little bit. So I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Awesome. So you are the daughter of Ernie Isley and you came from Music Legacy. So what was that like growing up in a legendary music household?
Honestly, it was just very normal to me to see my dad walk around with the guitar strapped to his back.
Love
Um,
it.
he so there was a lot of normalcy in the sense of like we went to Disneyland a lot. We had our inside jokes and our fun things we would like to do, around LA. But every now and then I would see him in the studio or see him on stage. But that part was also normal for me. But it was always cool to see him in his element,
Mhm.
performing and doing what he does best. So it was great. Always a lot of music, and on both
Nice.
sides of the family. Uh,
Okay.
my mom's side as well. She listens to everything as well. So between the two of them, I absorbed a lot of music growing up.
Yeah. So it was inevitable for you to be like the music genius that you are today then, having two parents who are immersed in that.
Yeah, and it goes back, several generations. My maternal grandmother, she sang
Yeah.
opera for many years, and she ended up, once she
Dope.
retired from singing professionally, she started training me classically. So yeah, my mom's side as well is there's opera, and then of course R&B, and then there's jazz, in there on my mom's side, and so it's a little bit of everything in the pot there.
Yeah. I think that's what makes you so like diverse too. I find that some of my favorite artists have like they're not just trained in one specific area. It is that, you know, R&B, classical training, gospel training, like all these things creates a conglomeration of music genius is like how I can describe it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit of
That's
everything.
dope.
And then in
Yeah.
college, I in college, I fell in love with Jay Dilla and rediscovering
Okay.
him and all that he produced. So then there was that too. So it's a lot. It's a lot happening.
Yeah, yeah. So coming from this legendary family, a lot of people might feel pressure to have a certain sound, to have a certain look in order to achieve success. So I'm wondering, how did you kind of navigate that?
I just, because it's easy to get caught up in what everything or what everyone else is doing around you at times. But
Yeah,
I really do my best to remain myself and just draw from my personal influences, which I was very passionate about who I was
mhm,
influenced by. Um, you know, not only R&B, well, specifically in R&B, like with the '90s girls. I grew up in the '90s, so I was influenced by that, by West Coast hip hop, by jazz, and so I just took all of those things and just really thought about how can I, you know, execute that? How can I put that out into something that's uniquely me musically?
yeah.
Um, so I did my best to really keep that first.
Yeah, yeah. It seems so natural, just kind of like watching your career and some of the strides you were able to make. How what was that process like of finding your own identity and being comfortable in that, showing up authentically?
It took some time. I feel like I'm always
Yeah,
learning, always adding pieces to my artistry. Um, but all of that really kind of started in college when I really started writing seriously and taking it more
mhm,
seriously. Uh, so yeah, I just started with the artist that I'm really heavily influenced by, and just taking little pieces along the way as time progressed and
yeah,
as I got older and lived more life.
yeah, yeah. It sounds like you're saying it comes with experience. Like it's a process.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, okay. I think a lot of people can relate to that because, even if people don't come from like a well-known family, if you will, people struggle with finding identity, right? We have pressures in the world, pressures as black
Yeah,
women to show up a particular way. So you
right.
saying that is encouraging.
Right. Yeah. I think it's really, really important to just hone in on what you're passionate about,
Yeah,
and just kind of putting your blinders on and staying focused on that. Because again, it's easy to get caught up in others' successes, but I think the key to that is uh, being inspired by the success around you and
yeah.
championing that and supporting that, rather than I wish I could do that, or I wish I was in that
Mhm.
person's shoes. I think just um, keeping your head up in the midst
Yeah.
of all of that and pressing forward. So,
Alex, you preaching a whole sermon right now because a lot of times when people may see the successes of other people, it can do multiple things, right?
mhm,
On a negative side, it can cause them to want to change, to become jealous, to covet what they're seeing them do. But on the other
mhm.
side, you're saying use that same energy to allow it to inspire you, as opposed to feeling like the need to conform to do what other people are doing.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too is, we see the successes and we see the great parts of people's stories, and you don't know all the pages of that person's story. You don't know what they've done to get to where they are. You don't know what's
Yeah.
going on behind closed doors. You don't know what they deal with when everything is shut off for the night and they're, alone with themselves. So I think
Mhm.
just it's just another reminder to just focus on you, because you don't know anybody else's journey.
And it's so easy to get caught up in that, especially in the era of social media.
Right. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna dig a little bit more, get a little bit more in your business. Was there ever a time where you felt you experienced like self-doubt, like you weren't sure about yourself in this industry?
Yeah. Um I was actually thinking about it not too long ago,
Mhm.
because, this journey of mine, I feel like I've put so much time in, but at the same time, I'm just getting started. And I thought about a few years ago, I was thinking of like, okay, well, if I'm going to give myself 2 more years and just really work at this, and if I'm just still kind of like in the same space, then maybe I'll pivot. and I can do this. Maybe I can do session work. Um, I love to cook. Maybe I'll go into culinary. So I was thinking about other options, and I was like
Yeah.
essentially setting myself to give up. And
Mm.
it's crazy to think about now in retrospect. And I've heard other people's stories how they wanted to give up, and it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So
Yes.
I've had those moments. And even in the very beginning, when I was putting together my first project, this was 2011, and I was writing and producing all of my music. I was recording, arranging, I was engineering myself. I was literally doing everything within the confines of my bedroom. And
Mhm.
I was so frustrated because I was having to learn this Logic software. I was having to learn
Yeah.
how to piece together the music for myself. And I just felt, at times, I just felt so lost and like, how long is this going to take? Like, I don't know what I'm
Wow.
doing.
Wow.
These files just got deleted. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I just felt like at times I would hit a wall and then hit another wall if I turn this way. And so yeah, there was a lot. It's been a lot
Mm.
in my journey. Um, oh, I'm about to start crying because I'm like reflecting now
Yeah.
even more about the beginning of everything, and to have stuck it out and to be where I am now. Um, I'm glad I didn't give up on myself, but I did have those moments where I certainly thought about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm
Whew.
glad I didn't.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, we cry here, so if you cry, sis, I'll pass you a virtual tissue. Um, but no, I'm just getting like chills as you're talking because like I'm reflecting on even moments in my own career where I'm like, okay, well maybe I can do this as opposed to, going about this route and then recognizing like I'm not just trying to create other ventures, which is fine. It's more so like I'm giving up on myself. Like I don't think that I'll be successful in this one lane. Therefore, I'm trying to find other options. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's amazing how like self-doubt can cause us to want to like give up purpose. Like essentially that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're when we, like,
Yeah.
whew, girl, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it is. That's
When
crazy to think
navigating
about.
that, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, that's not it.
Yeah, yeah. When navigating that, the sense of like purpose and showing up in your full self, I wonder, what
Mhm.
advice would you give to like other people if they're in the music industry or not? Like, how can we kind of learn to not give up on our dreams and to essentially like walk in that purpose as you chose to do and still choosing today?
You know what? I feel like I'm still finding that answer for myself.
Yeah,
I think, we all want to plan for the future and think ahead. But at the
yeah,
same time, I think it's really important. And I'm reminding myself this every single day to
hmm,
be where your feet are, be in the moment, be present.
that's good.
Um, and especially now as a mom, I
Mm,
am more intentional with my time. I'm more intentional about the words that I speak over myself, over my life, and over my daughter. And the whole thing about parenthood, especially, is being the best version of yourself that you can be and taking care of yourself so that you're in the
yeah,
best position possible to take care of your children. And so, but yeah, a huge part of that is being present and
hmm,
really being in the moment and observing the love that you're surrounded by, the beauty that you're surrounded by. Um, and we all have things that we want that we don't feel like we have, that we need that we don't feel like we have. And I think looking around at the blessings that you do have, and it's like, no, you know what? I woke up today, like
yeah,
I have a roof over my head. My daughter is safe. Um, so just little things like that. I just
yeah,
really been in the space of what can I do today to show gratitude, to be grateful for.
hmm, yeah.
Um, so I feel like that might have been off course with your question, but
Nah,
that's such a huge part of it, at least for me. And just figuring out how I can show up as my best self every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love how you talk about like parenting and how that significantly changed you. How did that impact your outlook on life overall?
Oh, it changed everything. It
Yeah.
gave me a second childhood. It's like I'm growing up all over again. And
Yeah.
then, growing as an adult, and I'm learning every day from this child. She teaches me something new every single day.
Love that.
Um, my patience is being, tested and like stretched because I need to work on that. I'm
Yeah.
an impatient person by nature, so that's one of the biggest tests of them all. Um, but yeah, again, it's changed. Parenthood has changed how I am with my time.
Mhm.
Um, Time to me is more valuable than money. You can get money back.
Yeah.
You can make that time. Once you spend it, that's it.
Mhm.
And so I'm just much more intentional with my time. I don't like my time wasted. So,
Period.
so yeah, parenthood has changed me tremendously, and
Yeah.
it's taught me to really take care of myself, um,
Mm.
inward and outward, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Like I really gotta just stay on it and take care
Yeah.
of myself. So yeah.
So motherhood not only has like increased gratitude and being aware and being present, but also is helping you to put yourself first.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And the importance of that, and self-care. And so it's like anything, and I'll never forget this. Right after I had my daughter, I had an older mother. I had a conversation with her. She had two sons. They're all grown up now, but she was like, take time out for yourself every single day, even if it's
Mhm.
only 5 minutes, if it's 2 hours, if it's half a day. Take time out for yourself every single day. Do something
Yeah.
that you love, that makes you feel good, that you're passionate about. And so I really committed to that from the moment
Mhm.
she told me that. I was like, every day, do something, even if it's something really small. A cup of tea for myself, when everything's quieted
I
down
love
for the
that.
day. Um, and now, like, I love going anywhere by myself. Like, I love it. I'll go
I'm
to a
here for it.
concert by myself. I'll go to a restaurant by myself. I'll go anywhere by myself and have a great time. So yeah, motherhood has been a tremendous
Yeah.
learning experience, and just a great ongoing journey.
I think you're helping so many people and so many viewers right now because I talk to people on a regular basis, specifically women, who
Mhm.
become mothers or wives, and they feel like my identity is gone. Like I'm 100% a mother. I lost who I am, and you're saying no, sis. Like it's important to carve some time out every single day so that you're doing something for you. I'm here for that message.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know marriage is a whole nother boat. That's another conversation where, I one day will be blessed to be a wife
Girl,
someday.
me
But so
too.
I don't know all that, you know, so I don't know what
Yes.
all that entails yet. But yeah, as far as the motherhood side, especially as far as identity,
Mhm.
doing something for yourself, I think it starts there, doing something for yourself
Yeah.
every day. I think that's a good place to start for sure.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I definitely want to segue into talking more about music because you have some amazing new music coming up. But while I was doing my research, I found some very interesting information on you. And
Okay.
so, yeah, so you experience what we call synesthesia. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, girl.
Because it's synesthesia, but I've also seen it
Synesthesia.
or heard it pronounced synesthesia.
Uh-huh.
One of the two. Synesthesia. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And essentially, this is like a psychological phenomenon where an individual can experience two types of sensory experiences at the same time. So for you, it's like hearing music can you see colors. And I've always been envious of people who have this. So I'm wondering, like, how did it, like, when did you discover you had this? How did this become a thing? Like, what has that been like?
I've always associated notes and chords and keys of songs with colors.
Okay.
ever since I was little. So like C major, any song that was in C major was always yellow, like almost like a bright, sunshiny yellow for me. So I've always had that sensory thing growing up. I didn't know that it was a condition or like an actual term connected
Yeah.
to it until high school. And my friends, they loved it. They were fascinated by it because they would ask me like, "Oh, what color is this song in? Or what what key is
Jealous.
black? Is there a gray? Is there a white?" So for me, like, there's no black, there's no white, there's no gray, there's
Mhm.
no brown, which I think is interesting. And I don't
Yeah.
know, my brain determined the colors, but yeah, I've had this ever since I was little.
I'm so jealous. One day. Listen, I like okay, so growing up in like church, it kind of like makes you naturally musically inclined. So being around
Hmm.
musicians, when like singing and stuff, they'd be like, "Oh, that sounds real blue." I'm like, "What? What are y'all talking about?" And then studying in college, like very classically trained as well. And I would hear our teacher saying, like, "Okay, I want y'all to make this sound a bit more yellow." And I would be the only one lost. So I'm jealous, Alex. I don't know if one day I'll develop this, but hopefully, eventually it'll happen for me.
That's so crazy. I haven't really been around anybody else with synesthesia or like
Really?
talking terms. No, I've met maybe like two or three other people in my life that have this same thing. And I've read that there was a famous mathematician who had it, who
Uh-huh.
associated numbers with, which I thought was interesting.
Really? I feel like everybody in my
Yeah.
music class was able to understand my music director when he was telling us to sing in colors, and I was just the only one lost. So it
Wow.
was an experience.
No.
Oh, but I would love to hear more about like this upcoming music that you had.
So I can't speak on much at the moment,
Okay.
but I have been in a really creative space for like the past like year and a half. I've really been
Yeah.
just writing and reflecting and writing. And what I can say is I'm more vulnerable. I'm a little more open
Mhm.
with what I've been writing. I'm a little more direct because I feel like I can be subtle in my writing, and
Okay.
I feel like I'm a little more direct and to the point in certain instances. But I've been doing a lot of creating, and I'm
Nice.
excited. I'm excited to start sharing soon what I have been working on. But I feel like that's really all I can say.
That's okay.
I'm
That's
really
okay.
excited.
That's totally okay. I'm wondering, so like have recent experiences inspired this or like what inspired this project if you can talk about it?
Recent experiences for sure, like
Okay.
within the past 2 years or so.
Okay.
Um, but I also write about hopes for my future that I haven't experienced yet. I
Mhm.
write about, past love and life, and talking to myself in some cases, and just lessons and little things I've picked up along the way. So
Yeah.
a little bit of everything in there, I think. Yeah.
I'm here for it. Is there a specific date or time of when you can share when this album will be released or
Um, no.
okay.
I don't
Okay.
have no, I don't
That's okay.
I don't have a timeline yet. I know I'm like I I can't really give too much away.
That's
But
okay.
um I will be sharing some things here and there before certainly before the year is out for sure.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
there'll be much more of an idea.
So that just means we just gotta follow you real closely to see like when everything is dropping.
Just stay locked in, keep your
Locked in.
notifications on social media.
Okay.
Because I have to do the same thing with artists that I love, and like I gotta just keep my notifications on for
Yeah.
shows and things. So yeah, just
Same.
keep the notifications on.
Period. Period. Where should they follow you?
Instagram at Love Alex Isley, Twitter, or I'm sorry, X at Love Alex Isley, TikTok, Love Alex Isley, lovealexisley.com. Yeah.
I'm here for it. So make sure that y'all are following Alex wherever you can follow her. Make sure that we are keeping a lookout for new music because we know it's gonna be fire. Like this, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Alex, we certainly enjoyed you, your time. We appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And make sure you all are tuning in to another episode of the Paging Dr. Chanda show every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget, you have the power to create the emotions that you want to experience.